So again, this is what I do. It's not for everybody. I find this works very well for me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start, with our hamstrings, right? I just do 1 foot at a time. I don't have a set time to hold this. I've read a lot of different things, and this is maybe a bit of a controversial stretch even, but I know the first thing we're doing in the first hole, I definitely want to pick that ball out of the hole. I don't want to hurt myself, when we do that. So I'm going to hold those for a little bit, try to go back and forth. I feel like we need to listen to our body. I don't think it's always a good idea to say, hey, 30 seconds, 20 seconds. I think we need to be aware of, what our body's doing, how our body feels, and then as an athlete, adapt to that. So I've got a nice stretch going now in my hamstrings, which actually feels pretty good. Next, I'm going to move up to my lumbar. So our lumbar is the part of our back that we use to bend over. So I'm just going to give a nice stretch to that. I'm going to pull my knees up into my chest. I feel like a nice stretch. For most people, this is going to feel, pretty good. All right. So I'm not going to hold that for a ton. Right. That feels pretty good. Next thing we need to work on is our lower thoracic spine. So I'm just going to get into this position here and let those knees fall down to the ground. I'm going to keep my shoulders on the ground and let those knees, just let them work towards the ground. Okay, so tight thoracic spine, is a killer on the golf course. It makes us sway, we're gonna get hurt, puts excess pressure on our lumbar spine. It's just something we don't want to do, right? So I really feel like my lower thoracic spine there, is loosened up. So now we're gonna work on that upper thoracic spine, right? So I'm gonna get down to all fours. I'm gonna have my arms underneath my shoulders, right? And I'm just gonna reach for the sky. Okay, it feels pretty good. I did 5 on each side. While we're down here, we're gonna work on our hip flexors. So, we sit a lot. We need to work on that. So I'm just gonna get into this position here. Try to keep this knee here at 90 degrees. I'm gonna feel like I'm pushing into this left, hip flexor here. I should feel a nice little stretch, in that area. So I'll do a few of those. Hold it. Feels pretty good. I'll switch. Again, my hip flexors feel pretty good today. All right, I'm not going to overdo it today. That's just kind of just being aware of your body, and reacting to that. Okay. So this is one of my favorites. Sometimes you can use a alignment rod if we're doing this on the range, but we're going to work on our interior extra hip rotation. Super common. You see a lot of sports doing this. Soccer players. Oops, a little more challenging in the wind. So I'm going to do 10 on each side. Just feel like I'm getting that, exterior and interior, hip rotation. Really loosening those hips up, right? And which is going to help us big time in our golf swing. I feel like, you watch good players, people who hit the ball well for a long period of time. Their hips always work well. They've got nice free hips, and they work really well. I've kind of made a joke about this in the past, but I feel like the biggest difference between tour players and amateurs, number one, tour players wear much more sunscreen. But number two, tour players do a way, way, way better job of warming up. I've kind of made a commitment, last year or so, to make sure I'm stretching a lot more before I play, or just actually going through this before I every time I hit golf balls. And it's made a tremendous difference to my game. Not only in terms of performing a little better, but I don't get those aches and pains even after long practice sessions anymore. Okay, so now we're going to work on our cervical spine, right? So that when we rotate back, our cervical spine is actually staying stationary, which means it's rotating. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep my eyes at the horizon. I'm just going to rotate to the left. I'm going to rotate to the right. I'm going to hold that for a few seconds, and I'm going to do that a few more times. There. Now I feel like I'm in a really good position to go out there and play golf. And I'm going to get that first tee or the warm-up range, whatever I'm going to do, and I feel like I'm in a really good spot.